Right, morning all. Thank you for hosting me today, and welcome to It's Not About a Coach, which is all about getting the most from coaching. We'll do some quick introductions in a minute in a kind of coaching way of being, just to kind of find a bit more about you guys. I guess that you kind of all know each other to some extent, but we want to kind of know a bit more about you in the context of today, really. And thank you, Annie, for picking up on an email I sent out, which basically said this: please can you help, ... And the request for help was, I wrote this book, It's Not About a Coach, which is about coachability, so it's about the coachee readiness, if you like. Published this just over a year ago now. When I wrote the book, I interviewed 85 organisations. Okay, I had an idea that coachability was important, but I wanted to road test that with 85 organisations. So Annie and I met quite a long time ago now. I'd say over 5 years ago. I ran a session with PSMW, basically road testing very early sort of incarnation of what you'll see today. So what you saw way back then is probably all gone by now. And I've gone back and basically said what I want to do now is take this from the book, which is obviously a narrative. Is you have to read the book. You know, it's poetic in many ways. It's a story, obviously. And what I want to do is take this into an online workshop, which I've already done. Okay, which will be more practical, which is great. And then the third bit, which what I want to do today, is road test a half-day workshop. Okay, and again, 85 people helped me on that. So Annie's got kind of very small stake in that, maybe a page if you added up the pages. And what I want to do is road test the workshop, so I can say, evidence-based with credibility. This workshop has been refined with, we've run one here, we've run one with a different organisation, and all the rest of it to really get your views. So you don't need to do anything apart from fully participate, but I will, with the help of my own feedback and reflection, and catching up with some of you as well throughout the course, get a sense of how it's working. All right. So what I want to do is we're going to privilege coaching the whole way through, so you get to work in kind of pairs and threes and fours and stuff like that. And we're going to have that kind of I suppose approach to what we'll do today. I want to set you off therefore with a question rather than give you any answers right now. Okay? We know coaching is predominantly around questions. Okay? So I'll give you a choice of two questions, and I'm curious as to which of these two questions is most important to you right now being here today. Just to kind of focus your mind, you've got 3 hours to make the most of it. So, It's Not About a Coach goes to develop two questions really. First question could be, how coachable are you? Okay, that is the kind of the main meta question of this piece of work, is how coachable are you? How ready are you for coaching? Now I use coaching very broadly because it can be mentoring, it can be line management, it can be very informal. Okay, it doesn't necessarily need to be that one-to-one external coach that's set up over a 6-week period with 8 sessions. It does not need to be like that. Okay. My other example is I listened to an audiobook this morning on the way here. Okay. If I'm coachable, A, I'll probably put the book on in the first place, and B, I might do something that comes to mind from listening to the book. In a way, it's coaching. Okay? It's not in the pure sense, but so anything really kind of how you define as kind of coachable. And number two, of course, depending on your role and your mindset today, is how coachable is person, so you can apply it to someone else, of course, as well. Okay. Now the good news is, in terms of reach and appeal and relevance, we're always in this category ourselves at some point in life. And I say life because, of course, things can crop out outside of work as well. Okay. We can all answer that question because we're all in situations where you might define that as coaching. Okay, and maybe, depending on what's going on for you right now, you might be responsible for the learning of someone else. Because this is what it's really about. It's about how best to learn in a coaching environment, which is a one-to-one environment typically. Okay, which is different to learning today. Okay, you can be drifting off right now if you want, thinking, oh, it's Friday, what do I have to buy tonight at the shops, what am I doing tomorrow? You look okay to me, I don't know what's going on. But in coaching, if you start thinking about your shopping list, it'd be pretty easy for me to pick up as coach and for you to realise I'm not being present. Talk about university, we're talking about education, about your kids. My geography course was 120 students, so people didn't even know I was there. And when I was there, I didn't need to be there. So it's a very different way of learning. So in a way, this is like learning styles, which I do talk about in the book, but in a coaching context. Because intensity is high, it's one-to-one. Okay? Time is tight. If I am coached externally, it might be for a few hours, 8 hours, rather than a 3-year course where I can take 2 years to work out where it is and what to do. And Mark and I were talking about leadership earlier. I didn't really get a chance to say this, but coaching is relatively new in terms of what we see as a label, albeit it's ancient. People always ask, you've got, great crops, how do you do that? We do that, we've always done that. So it's harder to pass on, So for me, if my dad was to give me any advice, he's been an entrepreneur all his life, he could say, son, give me that talk, son, this is how to market your business, how to be a manager, how to be a leader. Would he know how to talk about coaching? Would he know how to get the most out of me being coached? Don't know. And he's read the book. He's in the book. But, so it's new and emerging, but I do caveat that with the fact that it's ancient as well. So what I want you to do is just think about, we've got pairs at the moment till Lee, or if Lee arrives. Just have a quick huddle with your partner, okay? Just for 2 minutes, just play this through, because this will focus you now for the rest of the day. Is it question number 1? Is it question number 2? And because we're in a coaching way of being, you can have something in the middle as well. So it's a bit of that, or it's that plus that. That's okay. It doesn't have to be an answer. This isn't, calculus or algebra. It can be a bit of 1, bit of 2, 1.2, 2.1, whatever you want. Okay? Have a quick huddle with your partner, and let's get some direction for us as a group.